Batman has built an army of a Bat family. It's time to fight Leviathan, run by the Al Ghul family. This is the Comicstorian channel, where I take some of your favorite trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read them dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. Today we're going to be continuing our coverage of Batman Incorporated as voted on by our Patreons over at patreon.com/Comicstorian. Batman Incorporated is a storyline that started around 2010. And basically, it was the concept of Batman coming back from the dead and discovering he wasn't needed, that Dick Grayson made a better Batman than Batman. So he decided to go around the world and create an army, Batman Incorporated. He recruited various individuals into Batman Incorporated and basically made a Batman for London, for the Midwest, for the East Coast, that kind of a thing. But what he ultimately discovered is that Talia al Ghul has created her own organization out of the League of Assassins known as Leviathan. And now it's time for Bruce Wayne, Damian, and Dick Grayson to finally start to get the clues as to what Talia is doing. As the rain pours down, Bruce bows his head before his parents' grave. He turns back to see Alfred, telling his old friend that it's over, and he needs to tell the others. Isn't that what they want, Master Bruce? Both men turn and they see that they are surrounded by the police. Bruce Wayne! You're under arrest! Hands in the air! Commissioner Gordon shouts. To understand this moment in time, we must go a month prior. Batman and Robin leap out of their car, following the gun-wielding man in the goat mask as he runs through the rain, throwing bullets back at them haphazardly. Inside, he rushes past the meat factory workers, still firing his gun and forcing Batman and Robin to throw the workers to safety. As they move through the factory, some of the workers begin to pull down their goat masks, when suddenly the Dark Knight duo appear. They're wearing chainmail underneath their aprons, Robin, Batman shouts as he ducks under the thug's saw, forcing him to screech against his friends. Robin slides through the bloody floor, taking out one of the legs of one of the goons with his sharp batarangs. Batman continues to fight with the goons' saws cutting through the hanging meat around them. Elsewhere in the city, criminal masterminds are sitting around a table as the ghoul-masked leader of Leviathan watches them. Eat as Leviathan eats, drink as Leviathan drinks, embrace Leviathan, and consider yourselves the fortunate ones, Talia intones as the criminal lords continue to stuff themselves full. Back in the meat packing plant, Robin tackles the man in the goat mask, slamming him hard into the bloody floor. Chuck! Robin snarls, but the goat doesn't struggle. Now shoot him! He shouts into his earpiece, but as Robin grabs the man by the collar, meaning to interrogate him, a round rips through the window, piercing the man's spine. Shocked, Robin drops the body to the floor. It wasn't me! I didn't do it! Robin shouts to Batman, but Batman isn't listening. He jumps at his son, pulling him out of the way as another round rips through the window. Across the city, armed with a high-powered rocket rifle, the sniper turns away from his rooftop. He leaps through the air, trying to desperately get away. He's not going to let them take his son and put him into foster care. A small-time former killer for hire who knows these streets better than anyone. When Leviathan put the bounty out on Robin, he almost had no choice. What would any caring father do? He asks himself as he continues to run and leap across the rooftops. Back at the plant, Batman and Robin finish tying up the thugs as Batman explains that the Goatmen were trying to lead them into a trap. The foreman walks in shocked at the destruction in the room, and he reaches for another of the cows in the holding pens. I've got work to do. Time is money. If I don't get this place up and running again, he starts to state, but Robin stops him. Not that one. We're saving that one. We need to do some tests, Robin tells the man as he points at the cow with the funny bat shape on its head. Batman nods, leaning into the cow and examining the star that has been branded onto its hindquarters. Robin nods as he nears his new best friend. As of now, I'm a vegetarian, and this is Bat Cow. At the Leviathan dinner, one of the Grimm brothers stands up, smiling at the ghoul, telling her that while he appreciates the dinner and the drink, he and his brother have been running the West Side clubs for a long time. The West Side belongs to Leviathan. You have no choice but to agree, Mr. Grimm, Talia tells him from behind her mask. Behind her, two large man-bats step through the door. Grimm gets a look of fear on his face, telling her that he means no disrespect and that his brother could explain better than him. The others ate beef. You ate your brother, brains too, Talia tells Grimm simply. Fear fills the man's eyes as the man-bats close in. Elsewhere in the city, Batman and Robin cruise down the streets in the Batmobile. Batman doesn't take his eyes off the road as he questions Robin about the man's death. After you killed the spook, you promised never again. Batman growls, but Robin just scowls, reminding Batman that if he hadn't killed Nets, then Batman would be dead and the world would be in ruins. Are you really gonna lecture me every time we're together? Damian grumbles. He scowls, pulling on his hood, reminding his father that Grayson never lectured him when they were working together. When Grayson was Batman, things were better. The roof of the car slides open as Robin prepares to jump onto the speeding meatpacking plant truck. I don't know why you bothered coming back from the dead. We were fine without you. We had everything under control. Robin yells as he leaps into the air. Gliding into the night, he lands on the roof of the truck, planting a bat bomb on the windshield. The glass shatters, forcing the drivers off the road, and as Robin pulls the men out, Batman looks at the same star that was branded on the cow. The Demon Star. Another name for Al Ghul in the constellation of Perseus. In Arabic, Al Ghul. Robin explains, and they both turn in shock as a body slams into the pavement nearby. Both Batman and Robin look up into the night sky in surprise. Meanwhile, over on the west side of Gotham, the new Leviathan turf, the Hood walks through an adult toy store, slipping into his costume in the dressing room and revealing a hidden door in the wall. Inside, he finds the other heroes that supposedly died during Otto Netz's attack. Heroes that Leviathan believes are dead. The mysterious Wingman steps out of the shadows to inform everyone that Batman has put him in charge of this team. So like it or not, here's what we're going to do, he begins to explain. Batman and Robin continue their patrol of the city, with Batman explaining that when they're done, Robin is heading right back to the Batcave. Your mother put a bounty on your head. We have to assume that every assassin in the world is gunning for you. They land on the rooftop looking at the gang of street mutants that are unloading the meatpacking truck. You say that like it's a good thing, Robin points out, and Batman nods at the gang. It is. It means that they're right where we want them. Just like that gang of mutants. They leap down amongst the thugs, and Robin immediately cartwheels, kicking and punching amongst them. What Robin didn't see is the goat-masked assassin aiming his weapon at the back of the Boy Wonder's head. He grabs the last of the mutants, demanding answers before flipping the guy to the ground. What the Goat Man didn't see was Batman slipping up behind him. He senses it at the last minute, turning in fear. It's later that the dried blood covers the Goat Boy's face. Someone pulls off his blindfold and he stands before the ghoul-masked Talia. Next to him stands another man, both flanked by Leviathan soldiers and Talia's personal bodyguard. He's failed, and there's a price. The honest man has riches to gain. A different reward awaits the liar, she tells them both. The bodyguard grabs the man on the right, lifting and squeezing his neck. I got no reason to lie. It's true about my kid. If you don't believe the rest of it, I have proof right here. It happened so fast, Goat Boy says as he holds up his phone. He explains that he shot Batman in the head, but his mask deflected the bullet. But I hurt him, blinded him, and when I saw my chance, I took aim at the kid's future, Goat Boy explains as he hands Talia the phone. Goat Boy nods as he tells her that he shot Robin in the head, and now Batman is on him with all of his fury. Talia looks down at the photo, staring at Batman cradling Robin's dead body. Roz met Talia's mother at a charity music concert. He explained that while some people were giving what they could, it was the rich who refused to give up their money. Once Talia was born, Roz carried her up to one of the tallest mountains in the Himalayas and held her to the world. One day, this world will belong to you, my love, he told his baby daughter. Now in the present day, Talia steps into her father's throne room. My daughter, congratulations, he never saw you coming, Roz tells his daughter with a smile. He underestimated me, as many do. He always does. Talia tells her father with a nod. Roz nods but steps forward, informing his daughter that he cannot allow her war with the Dark Detective. Allow it? And how will you stop me, father? She asks. But the guards surround her, and Roz explains that she has put herself at his mercy in his lair. Consider yourself my prisoner. For your own good, he tells her, asking if he has not always done what is best for her. Her childhood was spent training in swordplay, studying in the desert while her father works. She ran down the stairs one day and saw the servants carrying her bloodied father to the Lazarus pit. It was that day, while she cried, that her nanny explained that the pit would bring him back from the dead, and he sprang out of that green liquid. Talia ran to her father in joy. Don't go to him! The Lazarus fever is upon him! Her nanny shouted, but it was too late, and a crazed Roz slapped her away. I gave you everything that you asked for. Roz explains to his daughter in the present day, without ever stopping to wonder what I actually wanted. She tells him, he wasn't wrong. Her childhood was spent getting everything she could possibly want. I wanted a mother. Talia snaps at him. She was a teen who had slipped away from her bodyguards and she found the fortune teller. "They tell me that you can see the future in the cards and the stars. Can you see mine?" Talia asks the woman. Though Talia doubted her words, the woman shows her a map of the stars. She pointed out the Algol, the demon star, and she explains that it's a binary star, 2 in 1, both Talia and her father. She also explains that it is the Eye of Medusa, once a beautiful woman that was cursed by the gods. "Don't let him scorn you as he did me," the fortune teller tells her. "What are you talking about? You don't know anything about me," Talia says, anger flashing in her eyes, but the woman shakes her head, explaining that she knew what it was like to carry Talia in her womb. "I begged to join him in the Lazarus pit, but he keeps it for himself," she hisses, and as the woman begins to rant, she tells Talia that her father is a lord of lies. Ubu appears behind her with a knife. "Did he hurt you, Lady Talia?" he questions as he wraps his arm around her neck. Time continues forward. Roz brought Talia to a secret lair underneath the streets of London, where they were attacked by ninjas. The fight was over in seconds, with Talia standing over the bodies of several of the fallen. "I rarely get a chance to practice my lethal martial arts," she whispers. When she was a young woman, she was leaving the university when suddenly she was surrounded by several well-dressed goons. "Dr. Dark, I take it that this is a formal kidnapped attempt," she asks the leader of the men. "Not so much an attempt, my dear. You are already my prisoner, a hostage in a secret war that spans the globe. Your fate is sealed," Dark informs her. He leads her to a train station while Talia explains that while Dark does believe her to be a worthy bargaining chip, he does little to comprehend her father's ruthless interest. They both sit down on the train and Talia looks out the window. "Have you ever even asked yourself why I allowed this abduction in the first place?" Dark pauses for a moment. "What? You have no choice in the matter," he tells her. Talia smiles, explaining that she and her father aren't on speaking terms and that Dark would be smarter to let her go at the next station. But the man shakes his head, grabbing her by the hand, explaining that they aren't going to reach the next station. "Time to depart. I've prepared a welcome for our Dark pursuer," Dark tells her with a scowl. Outside the train, Batman is met by Dark's ninja henchmen. That was when he and Talia first met, captured by Dark and his organization, though he would eventually rescue her. Meanwhile, in the present day, Talia knows that her father maneuvered her into a one-sided love affair, in hopes that they would have a strong child for him to call his grandson, a dark king for a new age. But Talia understood the truth, that Ra's al Ghul would never give up his power willingly. Ra's faced Batman in a duel to the death, letting the desert decide if the Dark Knight was to be Raz's successor. Even though Batman fell to the sting of a scorpion, it was Talia that intervened and made sure that he would survive that day. A final kiss gave him the anti-venom, and Batman faced Ra's once more. For her act of love, Batman and Talia shared one night together. Damian was born. Talia began to build her empire, ushering in various countries and villains to Leviathan's cause. She would eventually bring Damian to his father, telling the boy to choose who he wished to be with. "Do I have to choose? I would rather us all be together," Damian told her. Talia now stands before her father, telling him that Damian was brought down by a common assassin's bullet. Except Damian is not dead. He is a pawn in this game, a game that has already begun. My detective walked away when I offered him peace. When I offered him a family and a future, I promised love. He chose war, she tells him, when suddenly all the guards turn, aiming their weapons at Ra's. "Underestimating me is a common and fatal error. Your men work for me, Daddy," Talia explains as she pulls off her ghoul mask. Raz's trained assassins try to step in, but Talia's massive bodyguard suddenly appears behind them, smashing their heads together. Though he stands shocked, Raz finally turns to his daughter. "Well played, daughter. You make me proud. For the first time, I think I might actually be afraid for our detective." And there you guys have it, the first 2 issues of the New 52 run for Batman Incorporated. Now, make sure you check back every Sunday, because right now, every Sunday is a Batman day. The Patreon voted on storyline, Batman Incorporated, will continue unless I have a Batman Fortnite episode. Then we'll put that out on Sunday and then go back to Batman Incorporated. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys have been enjoying Batman Incorporated in general. It's a lot of fun. It's one of my all-time favorite older Batman stories, and I hope you're enjoying it as well. Like I said, this was voted on by our Patrons, who also voted on Winter Soldier, Dead Man Logan, House of M, all that kinds of stuff. And right now they're voting on a Loki storyline. So go on over to our Patreon and join that if you're interested. And if you're not interested and you just enjoy watching the videos, heck, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for sticking it out with us, and we'll see you next time right here.